Everybody get up, it's time to slam now.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, if you wanna jam.
Remembering the summers of my youth, riding bikes to the corner store with a gang of friends. It wasn't a gang back then, but we were deep. At least 15 or so, back when days sounded like yo mama jokes. Ice cream trucks and wind chimes tasted like 50-cent bags of penny candy. And don't forget the infamous ghetto mix, a shopping bag full of no less than 4 25-cent bags of chips, playing tackle football in empty fields, trying not to fall on the patch of grass with the needles that itched and hurt until you took a bath. I think they called it stinging nettle. We would play through the pain until nightfall, coming up with ways to ask if my friends could spend the night. My mother would meet us at the door with open arms, home, always feeling like home, cooking, and a mother's love, warmth, wrapped in a smile. She gave us all hugs before telling us we smelled like little boys and little bears, told us we were unkempt, like no one loved us. Don't touch my furniture, she would tell us as we laughed until our stomachs hurt. I remember when cops double parked to hand out bazooka bubble gum and sports cards back when they actually lived in the neighborhood before moving away, before they changed to walk the beat. When we looked at them like heroes and even wanted to be like them, I remember when it changed, when bubblegum turned my tongue vulgar, made me forget the smell of home. A cop would tell me for the first time to empty my pockets, called me nigga, slammed me against the car. I was 10. From then, the hugs felt different. It was never the same. And every year it got worse. Do you know what it's like to look down the barrel of a white man's police-issued smug smile to view projectile profanity meant to take your life? It squeezes between blue teeth and rolls off gunmetal tongues. What do you do when all your power is taken? The future power you thought you might have. The reason you were told to eat your vegetables, were told not to cry, robbed of your innocence. Who will apologize for my innocence? To the change of perspective from begging for a cap gun to feeling like I need a Glock. No safety for safety, knowing every day I gotta put on black. This epidermis of cursed greatness, paint on this smile, straighten this back, switch code. The only time I'm not a color is when I'm sleeping in my bed. Even then, my dreams become darker than blue, the hue of which leaking into guarded days. Mama don't got a good enough answer for this, never could tell me why my black is viewed as a danger to society's well-being. Only could tell me that this is how things go. Said things like, stay safe, keep your circle small. You are judged by the company you keep. The black mother's, the black mother's fear for her son's life mantra on repeat had a robotic tone mixed with a horrified glare, adorned with a tear. Adorned with a tear. It has to be a gut-wrenching feeling to know that your protection can only go so far. They say in 9th century China, gunpowder was created, first used for medicinal purposes, remedy for headaches. A few years later, was produced for warfare. I asked myself, how many times did organs implode before maniacal madmen decided to set powder ablaze, smelling the impact of ammunition, vaccines enveloping homes in flames, becoming cannons, tools of genocide? I'll never look at medicine the same. Can't shake the thought of my aspirin being loaded into guns, a painful killer fired at a congregation, classroom, or aisle of shoppers. I can feel the reverb of screams. Broken background, a barrage of breaking news segments, mass murder, infesting our families, grief served repeatedly, graves submerged in regret, GSR, stained hands, war in Palestine persists, Congolese brutally displaced, all of these babes considered collateral damage. Research lab rats to be dissected. When is enough enough? The end to the inoculation of black powder into the mirror of society. When will wrong be considered wrong? No matter the amendment, price tag, spilled oil rig, it's like being stuck between a bullet and a bullet. So now, knowing despair, how can I not fight fire with fire? Unable to suppress this coughing disease of terror, pneumonia, shrapnel in the lungs of this nation, like gray mucus, shell casings found wrapped in IV bags, saline solution, thick in black sugar. Can't help this go down. Honey laced in C4, a hard pill to swallow. To watch designs flame across the sky, mutate memorable moments into morbid memorials. I didn't want to write this poem. Couldn't live in the space, this past to present reality. But the visuals of small, bloody, sheet-covered bodies wouldn't afford me sleep. Brew me a seductive look in your eye, so I can consume your smile like I sip my coffee. Sounds of ecstasy, induced enjoyment, kiss, rich and delectable, big cup, flowing down my soul, creamy and sweet, steamy, and addiction. Be my morning fix, an insatiable happy. The caffeine I search for, best part of my wake up, warm, trickling down my chest. The jolt of energy to get me ready for the world, just smooth enough to tame the ground. A couple spoonfuls of sugar to keep a smile on my face, pep in my step, and love on my mind, making it cozy in this pocket home I hold so dear. Press every wound on this body, experience seen by these eyes. Take my doubt and whip it into a dream. Be my muse, the courage that pours to every pore. You stir us amazing espresso, me alive when I feel caffeinated, not quite like myself. I need you more than you know. Cake cups can't hold the appreciation I have for you, can't fathom losing your touch, texture, like heaven on the tongue, perfect, how satisfaction rolls, all smells of everything I wish for, just a hint of spice, my life. Ground into black silk, a blanket of roasted hugs. I love how you fold yours into my resting place, my morning blend of bliss, the truest balance I've ever had.
For the muses that died to become a slam poem. You can only write so many poems about how a bullet hits a body, a knee breaks a neck, how bones crack on asphalt, how grief hits a home. Lately, my pen's been running out of ink, my wrist out of blood. I'm tired of getting my writing prompts from a news cycle meant to keep us scared. My poem's been sounding like lynchings lately. Is this a poetry slam or a funeral? Reciting eulogies, poets turn pallbearer, carrying dead weight, a 21-gun salute in an empty graveyard. If a black boy gets murdered and no one writes about it, do you remember his name? If a black girl goes missing and doesn't reappear in a poem, do we ever find her? I swear, I wanted my poems to be a mirror and not a window. Didn't mean to make our pain a spectator sport, but I heard you say their names, so I put them in a poem to keep them alive. Convinced myself it was the same as saving them. Maybe my poems ain't nothing more than a hashtag, been crisscrossing a fine line between exploitation and expose, wrapped it around your throat. I am sorry for the way I bend your body, muse, martyr, metaphor. My poems been sounding like lynchings lately. I tell myself it's because these words keep you hanging on a thread, but what's the difference? Bodies hanging from a mic stand, broken neck, full of bullets. This one's got some blood on its sleeves. It's just, I've been trying to make you see, like Mamie Till screaming, look what they did to my boy, casket sharp, Sunday's worse, looking like a 10 at a poetry slam. Shit, I shouldn't have said that. But I should have cut you down. I let you rest in the pieces left. Instead, I put the soapbox under your feet to hold you up. And I'm starting to think that maybe the only difference between a lynching and a poem is who hung the body first.
They say when you lie with dogs, you get fleas. Well, here I am, trying to invoke feelings numb by life, stiffened by the many hands once in it, snuffing out old joys like a noose around my neck, waiting to snap. But the only thing that breaks is my spirit. Mummified, I shuffle through life, swallowing pills like I swallow my pride, while scum feast off decaying fresh flesh like maggots, leaving me numb inside. I've bedded my share of faceless men, each taking their aggression out on my body, thinking it brings pleasure, only adding to pain as they slap, bite, and choke me. I wonder if I were to beat on them like they beat on me, would it bring me the same release as it brings them? Would I be able to walk out of this room, poke my chest out, act like it's something to be proud about, then cower home to face the same women they complained to me about? And even though each day is different, they are all the same. A fake moan for their amusement, distorting my face, playing make believe that their 5 to 7 inches is really 10, cooing to their grunting and moaning, them sweating like 12 years a slave, me thinking of any other place but here, wondering how long will it take this time, hoping for just enough time to wash the blood of my tears away before the next John comes along to have his way with me. An endless revolving door I don't control, beauty in the eye of the mighty dollar that never reaches my hands, wishes ignored on lessons from my mama, wishing they sunk in. But a hard head makes a soft behind, and a soft behind piques unwanted intention. See, I didn't choose this life, it was chosen for me. A promiscuous teen snatched off the streets, another black girl gone, magic depleted. The only tricks turned were on me. Did anybody even look for me? Was my brown face seen on TV? Was my flyer posted and handed out, or did I just become another face forgotten about, added to the many? Maybe on occasion I was talked about. I wonder what happened to that little girl down the street. Well, she's gone. Tears soaked into soiled, grungy sheets, hopes broken into a million dreams, trampled on, left to dust. And even though condoms protect a number of things, they couldn't protect my dreams. Those of one day returning home, of being set free, of seeing my family, of sleeping in my own bed again instead of these dirty, grungy mattresses on dirty floors shared by others who come and go, never to be seen again. Instead, I'm left dying in silence, mentally held together by tattered strings, light depleted from my eyes daily, soul left darkened by the evil that stole me. This has become my purgatory, and I realize the only escape for me is death.
Trauma poetry tends to remind me of them repetitive roles in slave movies. The side character end scenes with no tokens to enter the playing field of their dreams. The one where the script was written and you still broke off screen. Memorizing a life you not living true to diminish the magic in your hues. You only write in various shades of blues. Don't nobody want to be fucking sad with you. The more your pen drips, the more I realize you wasn't made for this. Different book, same old shit. Duck, duck, goose with a therapist. Grade up reflection and you still don't like it. Regurgitating generational pain, served it on a plate with soft rolls and buttery bullshit. But I guess that gravy hit. So in this library of mine, I'ma shelve your shit. Cause you steady trauma dumping in them pieces, and none of them are cohesive. Keep hiding in them pages from your demons, but they lay on your covers. Plotting, scheming. Love, it was better off as a journal entry. Though because you dressed it up metaphorically, we supposed to clap because you wearing your heart on your sleeve. Trench coated to keep in the secrets, busting at the seams. Hood crying for you to do more than retell your thoughts to the trees. Repackage and resell on the boulevard of broken hopes and dreams. in them homes where them jeans don't fit well, lacking Benjamin so the button popped off to reveal we not cut from the same cloth. You're quilted with the lack of a northern mentality, patterned with inauthenticity, loosely stringed so I'ma manipulate you easily. From the fields of what make hotel sheets, the type to get nuts splattered on them day after day, week after week. I'ma become the trauma that you keep, because you was on stage afraid to bleed alone. Now you messing up everyone else's outfit. And I think that's really inconsiderate. I mean, what I meant to say was, I guess the snap's gotta be validation for the healing that you've avoided for centuries.
I hate that my self-loathing is always lurking right under the surface, just waiting for a few flakes of failure to chum the water in its service. I can feel it down there, swimming around beneath my feet, while I balance on a flimsy paddleboard, trying to stabilize my core, trying to be positive more. But my muscles are getting sore and I've lost track of the score. What the fuck did I even come up here for? It's not enough for me to write. I want to be understood. I want someone to look me in the eyes and tell me that I'm good, that my life is more than some antiquated idea of spinsterhood. So I paddle out here, open seas all around. Not a very strong swimmer. I hope I do not drown. I scream out my secrets like no one is around, reading poems about breakdowns, performing like a clown. And why do I do it? So that I can feel found. Or maybe just seen. But finding self-worth in a number is another failing scheme. Whether it's the scores that I get or don't get, come to that, or the number on a scale telling me that I'm too fat, or the likes on my new posts, or my number of Tinder chats, or the raise I didn't get, or the partner that I lack, it's all just a part of some pointless combat. A false flag of failure, trying to disguise this one fact. That monster in the deep, the one under my feet, swimming around, withholding the assurances I seek, has always and only shared my very heartbeat. I won't find salvation or the salve that I crave from riding these waves, from digging my own grave. It's time for me to be brave because the monster is inside me. You can't outrun your own rot. It's time to unlearn all the bullshit I have ever been taught. The praise that I've sought can't be begged for or bought. It must be fought. I ought to be my own champion even when waters are fraught. I can't control much, but that I've got. So no matter what happens today, the self-loathing isn't winning. I'm doing this for me, and I hope that you'll forgive it.
I have been buried alive by the unbearable weight, living in falsehoods and false ghettos, crying alone in honest an honest falsetto, getting slaps with more goodbyes than hellos, had the stage replaced by gallows, gaslighting my soul's manifesto as St. Anger's grip draws my breath more narrow, pleading to heaven's reflection to answer my questions. Who am I and why am I in this situation? Today, I look into the reflection with full confidence. After meditation, proper coping strategies, and maintenance, that I've set in motion the beginning of a one-man revolution, an emancipation proclamation from myself that is the ignition for the gears and pistons to begin transmission. I'm on a mission for redefinition and redemption. I'm on a mission that I will not fail in. And anyone who dares to be opposition of my self-betterments will be wishing that they were more focused on their own disposition than wasting energy trying to throw off my position, steering me off course from my preferred destination. I broke the rear mirror off because it's useless to look back when you're trying to look forward. I have marinated in the juices of judgment long enough and long before enough was enough, as a time for a change arrived at my door in the form of an eviction notice for all low energy squatting on the floors of my mind, covered in mossy scores of pores that sport a defense mechanism that is finally telling y'all no more. Inventory has been performed. Now it's time to show y'all what's in store.
Self-portrait, the beauty of meaning. I once searched for the beauty of meaning in the dark shadows of avarice and mundane attachments. mixed in the form of bitter lemons in such a way that I mistook them for succulent mangoes. It was wrapped in the guise of pleasure, money being my chief guest in pushing forward a wanton agenda of cravings and self-indulgences. I banqueted with turbulent oceans, all posing like celestial stars. One day, love's grace, I awoke to the joys of giving from the heart. Now I ride the waves, revel in the ocean, my soul soaring to the ethereal regions, soaked in supernal wine. I feed from the sweet milk of paradise, dine at the illustrious portals of its resplendent palaces. My awakening to purpose was a sweet sacrifice in the quintessence of spirit, where I saw the beloved who became ceaselessly alive in my joys and sorrows. Love became luminous sunbeams, manifest in the nebulae of heaven's glory in the beauty of my heart. Now your light dances, your bewildering eyes ascending to a nameless fullness. I'm enamored by your silence, the radiant glint in your smile, that supernal gaze in communion with the sweetness of the unspoken. I scan for a breath not visible. Somehow, I know you've overcome this mortal coil as the eyes flicker, and yet it is still yours to command. Slowly you return to the bodily temple and smile, even as I swoon in delight, receptive to the gift of inner stillness. For centuries, great empires were bewitched by your beauty. They fell, trying to put you in fetters, to grasp at the blue rays of your charisma, not knowing that, like the phoenix unencumbered in the timelessness of cosmic space, you cannot be bound by your own creation. You are the singer and the song, the perched bird growing its feathers to soar into the celestial vastness of infinity. Some put needles in their veins in search of you, while many wallow in the abyss of loneliness and fear, grasping in the darkness, unconsciously spiraling towards thy light. You're my anchor, speaking, yet silent, visible, yet not visible. I cup my hands in prayer as you laugh with the willows, sing arias with the nightingales, satisfy a lover's fallen heart with the wafts of lavenders and roses. Where are you not? Even the radiance of suns and moons glimmer in thy name. You're in the breeze of sturdy oaks and the naivety of a child's heart. You sustain me on the battlefield of life, shed copious tears in the hearts of the downtrodden. You fly across the horizon on song-bearers, hide in the indigo of rainbows, even as the butterfly flaps its golden wings to your symphonies. For you are me, and I am you. You are the keys in my pocket that I was looking for all along. I am the seeker and the sought is seeking me. I am the roaring lion, but the lioness is within me, reducing my turbulence so I can land safely on my own airstrip of inner solitude. Today I wrap my heart in a bouquet of flowers like Valentine's, sending them to your abode, a florist, delivering the joy of my being, kissing your luster in such a way that my love becomes the sweetest flame, shining a carousel of light on promising tomorrows. I am the small pond merging into a stream of living water, an Amazon to your great ocean of the unknown. I am a raindrop falling from a sky I fail to recognize as you until the river takes me to a source where I merge and rediscover my true nature. For you are my self-portrait, my ocean in the drop, and you and I are one. London Carey, thank you.
How many times have we watched a mother pat her son on the head before sending him to a bout, building boy confidence, calling him pretty, cheering as he floors his way to the ring, prays over his gloves, says swing, swing for the stars, jab, jab until you find an opening, an opportunity, a fair shot. Stay on your toes, chin down. Keep your spirits up. Don't let them steal your joy, boy. You better bob and weave. The gun line starts where grass meets sidewalk. Finish the round strong. Without rounds in you, please make it home. If a black man gets nailed on this canvas, and all you see is black, is it his fault? Is he heard? Or does justice continue to sit ringside wearing fur coats bought from selling tombstones? Queensberry, American dream rules don't allow fear. Just drops its guard when sidestep correctly. Counterpunching will leave your bell cracked in a country whose fight style is more Tyson than Ali. Watch your ears and what you listen to. Don't let the lies beat you sluggish. It'll take a lifetime of training to go round for round in a slugfest against this slew-footed, pigeon-toed southpaw with a moonshine left hand. Most mornings, you'll need smelling salts to wake up from the fight before. Need a cut man to stuff prayers where allegiance leaves evulgence. Putting a cold stop on the black-eyed cheap shots imposed on our culture. First Amendments might get you canceled. KO'd, hands taped in steel bracelets. No wonder why every black child is born with black trunks. Gotta out everlast left cross combos out the womb. Wonder if Jack Johnson knew we would still be sparring monkey references. Maybe that's why he dated all them white women, so he could yell "Eyes the pappy" at the weigh-in, his form of a low blow. Some get back for his invention being reduced to primate. Funny how this International Bigotry Federation makes us use 12-ounce.
They tell me the problem with family these days is they don't do Sunday dinner like they used to. How you expect your soul full without soul food? We be a generation of hungry bellies and thirsty hearts. Sunday dinner could fill those spaces. They try to feed me nostalgia. Say, remember those good plates, candied yams, mac and cheese, greens. But I remember Sunday dinner differently. How we spent more time swallowing our pride than food. How we asked mama to pass the peas and got a heaping helping of trauma instead. Sitting across from the man who took the last piece of cornbread, the same way he took the last piece of your innocence last night. And how y'all letting her say grace when she just inhaled her demons in the upstairs bathroom. See, I remember Sunday dinners differently. I remember being fed lies and told, we better clean these plates. There's children starving in Africa, but you traded our food stamps to feed your addiction, so ain't we starving too? Starving for affection, attention, a meal not laced with apology. They say you bet not cut your eyes or talk back, so we'd rather cut ourselves and stay silent. Stop showing up to Sunday dinners. We realized how bitter the truth is, how it was mixed into everything like garlic, how the food was always seasoned just right, but everyone else was salty. The whole meal be toxic. We had our fill and still left empty. We can't get the taste of abuse out of our mouths, so we've been coughing up triggers in public spaces. America got its hands wrapped around our shotgun throats, shoving Sunday dinner in our barrels like the problem with family and everything that happens in the days between Sundays. Or see, maybe I remember Sunday dinners differently.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Predators lurking around every corner, wolves in sheep's clothing, preying on the innocence of children, deceiving young minds, coming at you every which way from Sunday to the next day, hoping to someday capture you. Run. Don't stop. Make all the noise and scream if you have to. Don't let them catch you slipping down that slippery slope, lusting after your children. As their hands try to take hold, snatching young souls that'll be forever lost in the ether, never to return again. Bodies return to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But this ain't no pixie dust taking you to Never Never Land to play. What's left are images on shirts with halos, wings, and words saying rest in peace as families grieve. All because someone got too lax and posted pics on the internet. Proud parents boasting accomplishments, dropping subliminal messages with school names on jerseys and tees. Competitions holding plaques and trophies, oblivious to the demons lurking behind the screens. Protect your Babies. Stop letting them succumb to lurking vultures, watching them twerking. You think it's cute dressing tots like thoughts. They just waiting to get their rocks off. They're coming for them, tapping away at keys, hoping those keys unlock doors, gaining access to your kids, those that you haven't already gave them access to. These kids are our future. But what future do we have if they're lost because we failed as protectors? We have to protect them at all costs. With adults pretending to be kids using AI pics and voices, they are on the prowl. Pay attention to what your kids are doing and watching when you're not around. It's molding your minds behind bended delusions, leaving them with their own conclusions while you're working your fingers to the bone or simply off watching TV. These devices are left raising your kids, locking them inside with eyes locked behind screens. Snapchat, YouTube, and TikTok become the new food, feeding their minds that are bottomless pits, holding all knowledge no matter what it is. When their shit comes out smelling like boo boo, instead of pretty, perfect pink roses, don't shed any tears. Pleading cases, trying to bring them back home, waiting to see if they're going to be in a morgue or locked up behind bars, hoping they get scared straight before going straight in the ground. Remember, it's all because you failed as protectors to protect your babies from the predators out lurking around.
How does an immortal outlast her enemies? She seeks out teachers who can teach her how to bend with ease. A master who lets their pen bleed, a sensei who can shapeshift, whose mouth is full of magic. I was born gifted. Now I'm asking for my pen to be lifted, elevated, and shifted so I can further enhance what was already vivid. Then after centuries, there was Chad. I lay sick for weeks. Through these transitioned lenses, my vision was peaked. Everything from you had me on the edge of my seat, and something awakened the villain in me. A duo like us could get real blustery, have him isolated, closed in like Dorothy with limited recovery because this Meyer likes her scenes real bloody. A true oracle the way this shit was written. You ready, set? We on a serious mission. I want to do some vicious killing, invoke severe weather conditions, this tongue stay inflicting that raging ammunition, body shots so the plot holes are never missing, leave 'em shitting and pissing, thoughts pulled back like foreskin. With my third eye to read 'em like tarot and your wordplay reign supreme, we can spread from New York to Cairo, get bigger than a Roro. And the more you spit, the more I want to be under your tip, guided on some Ip Man shit. Put me under your wing and Chun lead me. With the two of us together, we're going to become the darkest storm they've ever seen. Hopefully, this request don't come off derogatory, because I want a cloud to water me.
Do you remember the first time you fell in love? I don't. I never have. It feels like a deficiency to be this far past 33, and the only person I've ever learned to hold was me. I blame Disney for instilling this need in me, this belief that true love is destiny, a magic carpet ride or a principality, even a beast so long as he gives me a library. Love in Disney is salvation embodied. The real world, though, is just as bad. It's 2 by 2 in this society. Those of us alone are considered a liability. I don't even know how one goes about falling in love. How to trade pieces of yourself with another to make something new, something more than just you. How to take those gifted pieces and shore yourself up, pile them like sandbags around your soul for when the waters rise up. I've snapped off snippets of myself before, offered them up to another on open palms. It wasn't meant to be, I guess, as I was left standing alone with my broken pieces in a pretty dress. It used to ache. When I let myself think of all the things I was missing, my life passing in a blink, I could feel the weight of arms around me like someone else's phantom limbs, synonyms for my failure, free falling with no one to whom to cling. It felt like my heart was on fire, acid reflux inspired, clawing at my throat, creeping out my mouth, birthed into the world on a guttural cry of why? Why not me? Why never me with him or her? What a loser! I was sure. They say that no one will love you if you do not love yourself. But they also spend their days telling you why you're on the shelf, as if you are both victim and perpetrator of the crime of loneliness itself. What they didn't tell me was the reverse. About how easy it is to lose yourself in someone else's verse. That sometimes the loneliest a person can feel is when they're fully submersed, surrounded by people but trapped in their own purse. To be loved will not protect you. That's a common human curse. I suppose it's a privilege in a way to have spent decades on my own, getting to spend that time learning the quietest whispers of my soul, all the contradictory pieces that make up my unique whole that I didn't have to give away in exchange for some dude's shitty coal. And the scream that lived inside me, it's dulled to an occasional roar. I'd still like to fall in love, but I know that love is more than the romantic Disney ideal of modern hetero norms. My life is filled with love. I just had to widen the open door and recognize that love comes in so many varied forms. I have friends who would bury a body if that is what I asked, and children that look up to me who think that I'm a blast, and parents who accept me even when I am unmasked. And as for sex, well, that's not hard if you know where to ask. It may not be the love of Disney-inspired dreams, but that doesn't make it nothing. It's more valuable than it seems. Maybe one day romantic love is waiting around the corner just for me, but maybe not realistically. And that doesn't mean that my story isn't worthy. I mean, to be honest, magic carpets do not seem very safe, and princessing seems very boring and very sedate. And all along, I think what I really wanted was an overgrown dog in a library more than a date. Even Belle looked disappointed with her normal human mate. So until the day that love finds me, if it ever even does, I do not want for anything. I am so very loved.
Life is the ultimate simulation video game our parents pre-ordered without reading its contents. The minority in the United States pre-order DLC sucks. I would like a refund, but no refunds are issued when life is set on survival mode. This is what you do. Survive. Survive through trial and error. Learn what it is to thrive in a seemingly never-ending cycle. Even if the results are not desirable at first, survive. When there are no other options, just survive. As much as you try to survive and be the best version of yourself possible, there are always going to be those who view you as public enemy number one. There are always going to be those who refuse to look into the mirror, who deflect and overlook their flaws, painting them onto your own canvas, making you look like some kind of jackass. There are always going to be those who instantly forget about all the good you've put out, then villainize you and morally sentence you without trial at the first given opportunity, shining a big spotlight on a fallacy that the light intensity has blinded them. There will be the people who blindly purchase lies without reading the price tag nor the package contents, proceeding to make a mess regardless. Forgiveness is the first step towards salvation. Forgive them, for they do not know better. Their instinct is to jump to conclusions, shoot first, then don't ask questions, passing judgments like kidney stones, pissing out processed pain like processed food. Research and investigation is not valued here. How do you think there are so many cold cases for murder in New Hampshire in the first place? Cases colder than the winters have been. Global warming is not to blame for the incompetency of perhaps corruption. Who knows? Both wear similar garments. Nobody pitches any no-hitters or perfect games on this field. It is impossible to go through life without making mistakes. However, nobody should be casting any stones, for real all sins looking for holiness. May the silence of their hypocrisy scream and echo in eternity. May the welts from their pelting reduce in swelling over time. May the scars from the wounds depict a story of survival. Survive and thrive out of spite. Control your narrative. It's the only one you get.
Lamentations of light. I weep for the living, the corporate heart too covered in the snow of avarice, to hear the myriad wails of souls crying in the wilderness for justice. The lobbyists, those trading in arms and natural resources, in whose dollars of blood lies the destructive volcano. I weep for the naysayers, those that manufacture merciless flares, lighting up the sky so powerfully that they invoke a judicial response from Mother Gaia. The truth benders, the interest groups seemingly dead, kept alive in the dark clutches of ignorance. For love is merciful, kind, and compassionate, and those who portray loving deeds in life will be merited in the afterlife. The living dead, lost in the forest of shadows, will awake in the traveler's lodge of sorrow. For karma works with cosmic law, balancing the pendulum. On this ceaseless wheel of eternal time, we come, dance with love like a heavenly actor, then we leave. Our blueprints may include numerous gifts and talents, many virtues and creative geniuses still waiting to unfold. Yet in this mystery, sometimes difficult to comprehend, the Master calls, and we must go, however unpleasant the circumstances. Who can claim to know the ways of paradise? Love uses us in its own inscrutable ways for transformation. Although we may grieve our dear ones gone, they are neither dead nor sleeping. On the Elysian wheel of time they travel to the soul-sacred bliss of an illustrious realm within. Though farewell, for if you listen closely, you will hear the voices in the song-bearers' melodies and the bouquets of flowers paying homage to the various legacies. The moon and stars will shine like we do with family and friends, even as love welcomes them in the golden shows of the unknowable. Let us listen to the hummingbirds as they recite psalms for their contributions, say how amiable they were. The swans will waltz to their poise and charisma, for their energies affected many, their vibrancy nothing but a conduit expressing itself in this earth arena. Let the fragrant jasmines rejoice, sunflowers unfold to our grieving, carrying our tears to the New Jerusalem. For flowers, too, have their stories to tell, even as those who listened to children playing stepped into the naivety and cheerfulness. Do not mourn, for we all instruments of light, and will joyfully awake in our regal chambers when our turn arrives, a boon from the Master's blessings. Let us show kindness to others, loving them by being a benchmark to goodness and benevolence. Listen while the bugles blow and the trumpets call, and know that in time, dear ones shedding tears will be comforted, dance with shooting stars, carry the glories of love to the portals of paradise. Give praise and adulation for the majestic grandeur of heaven. Although we may evoke their soulfulness and charm with poignant funeral songs and speeches, lament the loss of sons and daughters, the beloved will bring grace and mercy to their hearts, born out of a spirit of grief and fortitude, loving prayers and concern. Though farewell, or even as the sun sets, only to rise again at daybreak, even as the luminosity of moonbeams glisten in the darkness, and the nightingales sing upon another virgin morn, so too they have ascended, chanting Alleluia to our Lord. And in the breath of the breeze we will feel that spirit, for the wind has carried the joys and sorrows, the playful yesterdays, and the exaltations of tomorrows, to place them all at the feet of our effulgent majesty. And now the spirit is sanctified, minstrels play joyfully on harps, as cherubims and seraphims chant the glories of their harmonies. Heaven smiles, gleaming with luster, as they arrive at the gates of serenity and supernal beauty. Steal away, steal away, steal away to freedom. Steal away now, steal away home to freedom. Lantern Carrier, thank you.